rifle was loaded, the hallway was sealed, and the gunman thought he controlled everyone on their knees. What he didn't see was the nurse standing beside him, silently reading his breathing, his grip, his fear. The mistake he made next would decide who walked out alive. If you're going to take this story, at least give something back. Subscribe and comment where you're watching from. It was 2:47 p.m. on an ordinary Tuesday in April. The third floor of Mercy Ridge smelled of floor cleaner and hand sanitizer. Outside, spring rain drummed against the windows. Maya Reynolds sat at the nurse's station reviewing patient charts. She was 36, with dark hair pulled into a practical ponytail and teal scrubs that hung loose on her athletic frame. She moved through the ward with an economy of motion that others mistook for timidity. "I swear Maya's a robot," whispered Jen Caldwell to Dr. Richard Park near the medication dispensary. "I asked what she did last weekend and she said laundry and meal prep. That's it." Dr. Park barely looked up. "As long as she follows protocol, I don't care if she watches paint dry." What Dr. Park didn't notice was that when a gurney clattered 3 rooms down, Maya's eyes flicked immediately to the stairwell exit. He didn't notice the faint scars on her forearms or the way her weight stayed perpetually balanced, never slouched. Maya typed her notes. Patient 314, post-op vitals stable. No complications. She wasn't bored. She was aware. Some instincts don't fade. They just wait. 12 years ago, Maya hadn't been adjusting 4 drips. She'd been Lieutenant Reynolds, tactical team leader for Metro SWAT's Crisis Response Unit. She had led room clearances, coordinated hostage extractions, made split-second decisions where one wrong call meant body bags. She had chosen nursing deliberately as a redirection, a place where her training could save lives without taking them. Until 2:51 p.m., when everything changed. "Hey Maya," Jen called. "Can you take the biohazard bags down? It's creeping me out going near the service elevator alone." Maya's face remained neutral. "Sure." She gathered the red bags, her forearms flexing briefly before she adjusted into her usual slump. She walked toward the service area, rain tapping against windows. As she reached the utility alcove near the elevator, she heard it. Not a wheelchair brake or supply cart. The distinct metallic clack-snap of a rifle bolt being chambered. Maya froze. The shuffle vanished. Her spine straightened. Her breathing slowed. Ding. The elevator doors opened. Maya stepped into the shadows, leaving the utility door cracked an inch. A man stepped out, mid-40s, 6'2", dark jacket soaked from rain, duffel bag over his shoulder, and in his hands, an AR-15, shortened barrel, red dot optic, 30-round magazine. This wasn't impulsive. This was someone who knew his equipment. He moved past her hiding spot, boots striking deliberately against linoleum, heading toward the nurse's station. Maya glanced at her wrist. No watch. Her phone was at the desk. She was unarmed, alone, and a threat had just entered a space filled with vulnerable people. Nobody move. From the darkened alcove, Maya watched. Dr. Park dropped his clipboard. Jen gasped. The gunman jammed a doorstop under the double doors, sealing the floor. He raised the rifle. "Hands where I can see them," Jen screamed. "Please, Bang. He fired into the ceiling. Acoustic tiles exploded. Dust rained down. The echo slammed against walls. "Next one goes in a kneecap. Where's Dr. Halloway? Where is Jonathan Halloway?" Dr. Park's face went pale. "He's not on shift today." "Liar. I've been watching this floor for 3 weeks. Where is he?" "He called in sick." The gunman's finger hovered near the trigger. "Then we wait. Everyone in the hallway. Get the patients out. Anyone who can walk, moves. Anyone who can't, you drag them." Maya's mind shifted gears. Single male. Emotional but controlled. AR-15, semi-auto. Sidearm on right hip. 1 hostile. 2 staff visible. 12 patients estimated. Confined corridor. Limited cover. 3 exits. Main doors blocked. Service stairs behind her. Emergency stairwell past gunmen. Direct engagement with no weapon equals suicide. She needed proximity. She needed him to underestimate her. Maya took 1 slow breath and made the shift. Lieutenant Reynolds stepped back. Quiet Maya stepped forward. She pushed the door open and stumbled out, dropping the biohazard bags with a loud thud. The gunman whipped around, rifle snapping toward her. Freeze! Maya threw her hands up, trembling. She hunched her shoulders, made herself smaller. Her mouth opened in shock. Eyes wide with terror. Don't shoot. Please. I was just taking out the trash. I'm just a nurse. I'm nobody. Please. The gunman stared. He saw frayed scrubs, messy ponytail, trembling hands, absolute submission. He saw exactly what she wanted him to see. Pray. Get over here with the others. Hands up. Move slow. Maya shuffled forward, hesitant and clumsy, every inch the frightened hospital worker. Inside, her mind was already 3 moves ahead. Right hand dominant. Poor finger discipline. Shallow breathing. Emotional driver, not tactical. Mission-oriented. Personal grievance. She positioned herself near the nurse's station, hands raised, head down, and she waited, because the most dangerous weapon in that hallway wasn't the rifle. It was patience. Maya's hands stayed raised, but her mind was somewhere else entirely. 12 years ago, she hadn't been Maya Reynolds, RN. She'd been Lieutenant Maya Chin Reynolds, callsign Anchor, and she'd earned that name the hard way. While other operators relied on aggression and speed, Maya had built her reputation on something harder to teach: control under chaos. She joined Metro Swat at 24, the youngest woman ever selected for the tactical unit. By 28, she was leading a 6-person entry team. By 32, she was running point on high-risk warrants, barricaded suspects, and hostage rescues across 3 counties. Her team trusted her because she never made decisions from ego. She made them from math, angles, timing, risk assessment, backup plans. Leadership in tactical operations isn't about courage. It's about calculation. Every door you breach, every corner you clear, every trigger decision carries weight that follows you home. Maya had learned to carry that weight without letting it slow her down. Until the night it became too heavy. The Riverside apartment complex. February 14th, 5 years ago. A domestic barricade turned hostage situation. Ex-husband with a firearm, 2 children inside, threats of murder-suicide. Standard protocol: negotiate, de-escalate, wait for surrender. But the suspect fired twice through the door. Clock started ticking. Maya made the call. Tactical entry. Breacher up front. She'd go second. Secure the children while her team controlled the suspect. Clean plan. Rehearsed scenario. Except the suspect had rigged a propane tank near the entry point. The explosion took her breacher, Officer Marcus Webb, instantly. The concussion threw Maya backward into her number 3, Sergeant Lisa Ochoa, rupturing Lisa's spleen against a stair railing. Maya pulled Lisa out while the apartment burned. The children died in the fire. The suspect died in the fire. Marcus was already gone. 2 teammates, 2 children, 1 decision. The review board cleared her. Textbook response, they said. Unpredictable variable. No negligence. The department offered her a promotion. She turned it in her badge instead. Not because she was afraid. Not because she couldn't do the job. but because she realized she'd spent 12 years learning how to end threats, and she wanted to spend the rest of her life learning how to preserve what was left after the chaos. Nursing school at 33. Clinical rotations at 34. Mercy Ridge at 35. 5 years of saving lives without carrying a weapon. 5 years of building distance from the person she used to be. Until now. Maya watched the gunman pace near Dr. Park, his rifle sweeping erratically. His breathing was rapid, irregular. His demands were emotional, not tactical. His finger kept drifting to the trigger during stress spikes, then away during pauses. She'd seen this profile before. Grief-driven, mission-fixated, tunnel vision on a singular target. Dr. Holloway. Everyone else was collateral, not objective. That made him predictable. Dangerous, but predictable. Maya's training whispered assessments she couldn't silence. He's not here to kill everyone. He's here to make someone accountable. He wants an audience. He wants validation. Which meant time was her ally, and patience was her weapon. She stayed perfectly still, perfectly afraid, perfectly invisible. And she began to plan. The gunman's name was Aaron Dennison, though Maya wouldn't learn that until later. What she learned in the first 3 minutes was more useful than any name. He paced in a tight circuit between the nurse's station and the block doors. 7 steps forward, pivot, 7 steps back. Repetitive pattern. Self-soothing behavior. His left hand gripped the rifle's foregrip too tightly, knuckles white. His right index finger kept drifting off the trigger guard, then snapping back when he caught himself. Amateur discipline. Trained enough to be dangerous, not trained enough to be controlled. I said everyone in the hallway, he shouted again, though the staff were already complying. Repetition of commands. Need for acknowledgement. Maya filed it away. Dr. Park spoke carefully, hands still raised. Sir, we're doing exactly what you asked. Please, just tell us what you want. What I want. Dennison's voice cracked. I want 3 years of my life back. I want my wife back. I want Jonathan Holloway to answer for what he did. There it was. Personal grievance. Specific target. Maya watched his eyes. They kept darting to the hallway clock, then to the elevator, then back to the staff. Waiting for someone. Expecting confrontation. This wasn't spontaneous rage. This was planned revenge badly executed. Mary Dennison, he continued, his voice raw. February 2023. Routine cardiac bypass. Holloway said she'd be home in a week. She died on the table. And you know what the hospital said? Complications. You know what the lawsuit found? Nothing. Insufficient evidence. Case dismissed. His breathing accelerated. But I found the duty logs. I found the nurses who wouldn't testify. Holloway came in 4 hours late that day. He'd been at a conference. Drinking. Everyone knew. Nobody said anything. Maya tracked the emotional escalation. Grief underneath anger. Perceived injustice driving action. He wasn't here for carnage. He was here for accountability, distorted through the lens of trauma. That made him more dangerous in some ways, less in others. He had boundaries even if he didn't know it yet. Jen Caldwell sobbed quietly near the medication cart. Please, I have a daughter. I don't even know Dr. Holloway. Then you're collateral, Dennison said flatly, but his grip on the rifle loosened slightly. Cognitive dissonance. He didn't want to hurt innocence. He just hadn't thought past his primary objective. Maya noted his tells. When stressed, he wiped his left palm on his jeans. When questioning his actions, his eyes shifted right. When resolving to continue, his jaw clenched. Readable. Exploitable. Then the hospital PA system crackled to life. This is Hospital Security Chief Williams. We have the building surrounded. Put down your weapon and release the hostages immediately. You have 60 seconds to comply. Dennison's head snapped up. His breathing spiked. The rifle came up to a ready position, finger now fully on the trigger. No, Maya thought. Not like this. The situation had just become exponentially more volatile. 60 seconds. The PA system boomed again. Surrender now or we will breach. Dennison spun toward the blocked doors, rifle raised. Breach? You'll breach. His voice climbed an octave. I've got 17 people in here. You want to start a firefight? Dr. Park tried to stand. Sir, please, let's just sit down. Dennison whipped the rifle toward him. Someone screamed. The tension coiled tighter. Maya watched the command chain collapse in real time. Security shouting threats. Administrators likely panicking in some office downstairs. Every voice adding pressure, each one making Dennison more unpredictable. Classic multi-authority crisis failure. Too many inputs. No consistent message. Escalation instead of de-escalation. She made her choice. Water, Maya said quietly. Dennison's head turned toward her. What? Water. Maya kept her voice level, unthreatening. If we're going to be here a while, people need water. There's a diabetic patient in room 312. If his blood sugar drops, he'll seize. That's a medical emergency you don't want. Dennison stared at her. She didn't break eye contact, but she didn't challenge him either. Simple statement. Practical concern. Non-confrontational. I don't, he started. I'm just saying, Maya continued, her tone almost conversational. If someone has a medical crisis, it complicates everything. For everyone. I can get water from the break room. 30 seconds. You can watch me the whole time. The PA system crackled again. Dennison flinched. Maya spoke before security could. That voice is making this worse. They're not in here. They don't know what you want. I'm here. I'm listening. Dennison's jaw worked. His breathing slowed slightly. He looked at the hostages, then back at Maya. Fine. Get water. But I watch you. And if you try anything, I won't. Maya stood slowly, hands visible. I'm just a nurse. She moved toward the break room and Dennison followed, rifle trained on her back. But when she returned with bottles, he stepped aside to let her distribute them. Stay close, he told her. You talk to me. Nobody else. Maya nodded. The PA system went silent, and control shifted. Over the next 40 minutes, Maya became indispensable without appearing threatening. She convinced Dennison to move 3 hostages away from the medical supply room. Oxygen tanks in there, she explained quietly. If a stray round hits one, the whole corridor becomes a blast zone. Bad for everyone. He hesitated, then nodded. Move them. Slowly. She did. 3 patients relocated to safer positions. 1 less catastrophic variable. When elderly Mrs. Chun in room 310 began hyperventilating, Maya approached Dennison directly. She's having a panic attack. If she passes out and hits her head, you've got a bleeding patient. Let me give her something to calm down. Just oral medication. You can watch. Dennison followed her to the medication cart, rifle never lowering. Maya retrieved a mild sedative, showed him the dosage, administered it while he watched. Mrs. Chen's breathing steadied within minutes. See. Maya's voice remained neutral. Crisis prevented. She established a pattern. Identify problem, present solution, execute with full transparency. Each small win built incremental trust. She wasn't challenging his control. She was supporting it, making his situation manageable instead of chaotic. When a patient's 4 started beeping, she asked permission before silencing it. When someone needed the bathroom, she negotiated a system. When Jen started hyperventilating, Maya talked her down with the same calm professionalism she'd use on any shift. Dennison began defaulting to her for logistics. Where should people sit? How long until Holloway's shift? What's that noise? Maya answered everything simply, honestly. No games. No tricks. Just steady, reliable presence. She was slowing time, stretching seconds into minutes, minutes into hours. Every hour increased the odds of peaceful resolution. Fatigue worked against aggressors. Adrenaline couldn't sustain itself indefinitely. Then the elevator dinged. Dennison's head snapped toward the sound. I said no one comes up. The doors opened. A hospital administrator stepped out, hands raised. Mr. Dennison, I'm here to negotiate. Get back. The man froze. Dennison fired into the ceiling. The sound was deafening. Acoustic tiles exploded. Hostages screamed. The next one won't be a warning. Dennison's voice shook with renewed rage. Maya's window was closing. The administrator scrambled back into the elevator. The doors closed. Dust settled from the ceiling. The hallway went silent except for muffled sobbing. Then Dr. Park collapsed. He'd been kneeling for over an hour, hands on his head, stress and fear finally overwhelming his system. He went down hard, face first onto the linoleum. Don't move, Dennison shouted, swinging the rifle toward the fallen doctor. Maya was already moving. Not fast, not aggressive, deliberate. She crossed the distance in 4 calm steps and knelt beside Dr. Park, fingers immediately finding his carotid pulse. He fainted, she said evenly. Stress-induced vasovagal syncope. He needs to be on his side. I didn't say you could. He's not a threat unconscious. Maya rolled Dr. Park into recovery position, checked his airway, monitored his breathing. Her hands moved with clinical precision. No tremor, no hesitation, no fear. Dennison stared. Something in his expression shifted. He stepped closer, rifle lowering slightly, studying her. Look at me, he said. Maya glanced up. Her eyes were calm, clear, unafraid. Dennison's brow furrowed. You're not scared. I'm concerned about my patient. Everyone else is terrified. You're... He trailed off, instinct recognizing something his conscious mind couldn't name. You're too calm. Maya held his gaze. Didn't confirm. Didn't deny. Just waited. Who are you? His voice carried suspicion now, not anger. I'm a nurse. Bullshit. Dennison's grip tightened on the rifle. Nurses don't move like that. They don't. He gestured vaguely. You've done this before. Been in situations like this. Maya stayed silent. Stand up. Slowly. When she complied, he motioned toward an empty patient room. In there. Now, everyone else stays put. Dr. Park groaned, regaining consciousness. Jen reached for him. Dennison kept the rifle trained on Maya. Move! Maya walked into the room. Dennison followed, kicking the door halfway closed. We're going to have a different conversation, he said quietly. And you're going to tell me the truth. The patient room was small. Medical cart near the door. Bed against the far wall. Window overlooking the parking lot where police lights pulsed red and blue through the rain. Dennison positioned himself between Maya and the exit. I've been watching people under stress for 3 years. Lawyers, doctors, investigators. They all break. You haven't even sweated. Maya kept her hands visible. You want the truth? Yeah, I want the truth. I was a tactical team leader. 12 years. I left that life to become a nurse. Her voice remained steady. I'm not your enemy. I'm trying to keep everyone alive. Including you. Dennison's face twisted. So you've been playing me this whole time? No. I've been helping you. Those oxygen tanks? That patient relocation? That was real risk mitigation. For everyone. You think I'm stupid? His finger moved toward the trigger. You think I don't know what you're doing? I think you're in pain, Maya said quietly. I think you lost someone you loved and the system failed you. I think you came here for justice, not murder. Don't. His voice cracked. Don't pretend you understand. I do understand. Maya took a half step forward. I know what it's like when command fails you, when the people responsible walk away and you're left holding the wreckage. Dennison's eyes glistened. The rifle wavered. Behind him, through the door's window, Maya saw movement. Swat entry team in the hallway. 30 seconds out. She needed to end this now. Before they breached. Before more people got hurt. Dennison turned his head slightly toward the window, distracted by approaching sirens. Maya moved. 3 steps closed the distance. Her left hand swept the medical cart into the rifle's barrel, redirecting the muzzle toward the floor. Her right hand caught his wrist, controlling the weapon's axis. She pivoted her hip into his center mass, disrupting his balance. His finger tightened reflexively. Bang! The shot punched into linoleum. Maya maintained wrist control, rotating the rifle away from his grip using leverage, not strength. The weapon clattered free. She kicked it across the floor and used her body weight to guide him down. Knee pressure on his shoulder blade, arm controlled in a joint lock. Don't fight, she said. It's over. The door exploded inward. Swat flooded the room, voices shouting, boots pounding. Hands pulled Dennison away from Maya. Others helped her stand. She walked into the hallway. Hostages were being evacuated. Paramedics rushing in. The chaos of resolution. Maya sat against the wall, legs finally trembling. Her hands shook now that the threat was gone. A SWAT officer knelt beside her. Ma'am? Are you injured? Maya shook her head. I'm fine. I'm just a nurse. The interviews lasted 3 hours. Detective Harris, FBI liaison, hospital administration, all asking the same questions in different ways. You were SWAT. Why didn't you tell anyone? How did you know what to do? Maya answered factually. Dates of service, rank, training, the tactical decision-making that led to Dennison's disarmament. She left out the parts that didn't fit neatly into reports. The way her hands still remembered joint locks after 5 years, the muscle memory that never fully disappeared, the weight of choosing action over passivity. By evening, hospital CEO Catherine Marsh sat across from her in a private conference room. Ms. Reynolds, your personnel file listed you as a registered nurse. No mention of law enforcement background. You didn't ask. We're asking now. Marsh leaned forward. The media wants interviews. The board wants to recognize your actions publicly. We'd like to offer you a position in our security consultation division. Significantly higher pay. Your expertise is... No. Marsh blinked. I'm sorry. I appreciate the offer. I decline. Maya's voice was firm but not unkind. I'm a floor nurse. That's the job I chose. That's the job I want. But surely after today. Today was an exception. Maya stood. I'd like to return to work next shift. Same floor. Same responsibilities. She left before Marsh could argue. That night, alone in her apartment, the delayed response hit. Maya sat on her bathroom floor, back against the tub, and let herself shake. Not from fear. From release. The adrenaline finally metabolizing. The hypervigilance finally standing down. She'd made the right calls. Dennison was alive. The hostages were safe. Dr. Park was recovering. But the cost was familiarity with parts of herself she'd worked 5 years to quiet. Her phone buzzed. News alerts. Her name trending. footage from security cameras, requests for comment. Maya turned off her phone. 2 weeks later, she returned to Mercy Ridge. Same ponytail, same teal scrubs, same quiet efficiency. Colleagues looked at her differently now, whispered when she passed, some with awe, some with unease. But within a month, routine reasserted itself. Charts, medications, rounds, the rhythm of preservation. Maya preferred it that way. Heroism wasn't about recognition. It was about responsibility and knowing when to act. 3 months after the incident, Maya Reynolds stood at the same nurse's station on Mercy Ridge's 3rd floor. The bullet hole in the ceiling had been patched. The scuff marks on the linoleum buffed away. New acoustic tiles installed. The hallway looked exactly as it had before Aaron Dennison stepped out of that elevator. But something had changed. Jen Caldwell, who once called Maya a robot, now watched her with quiet respect. When a confused patient became agitated near the medication cart, Jen didn't panic. She called Maya, not security. Maya. Dr. Park, who dismissed her as having the bedside manner of a wet mop, now asked her opinion on complicated cases. Not because protocol required it, but because he'd learned what competence looked like under pressure. New staff heard the stories. Some asked questions. Maya answered briefly, then redirected to patient care. The work mattered more than the legend. One Tuesday in July, a fire alarm triggered on the 2nd floor. False alarm, maintenance issue. But Maya noticed something others didn't. The way people looked to her during those first uncertain seconds. Not to administration, not to security, to the quiet nurse who'd proven that preparation wasn't loud. She directed evacuation calmly, confirmed it was a false alarm, resumed her shift. That evening, a nursing student shadowing Maya asked, "Do you ever think about what would have happened if you hadn't been here that day?" Maya considered the question while updating a patient chart. "I think about what happens when anyone with training chooses to use it. Police officers, firefighters, EMTs, teachers during lockdowns. People step up every day. Most of them never make the news. But you saved lives." "We all save lives," Maya said. "Some of us just do it differently." The student nodded, still processing. Maya returned to her work. Same ponytail, same scrubs, same deliberate efficiency. The hallway was full of doctors, nurses, patients, visitors. All of them safer than they knew, because the most effective protection doesn't announce itself. It simply exists, watching, prepared, invisible until the moment it's needed. And on the 3rd floor of Mercy Ridge Medical Center it always would be. Maya Reynolds proved that the most dangerous person in a crisis isn't always the one holding the weapon. Sometimes it's the one everyone underestimated. True heroes don't announce themselves. They simply act when no one else can. Subscribe for more stories of hidden strength and quiet courage. The best protectors are the ones you never see coming.